गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। If we want to be expert in any field, we require a perfect, sound is getting out of control. We require perfect understanding of the fundamentals. It is something like this. If somebody has to be a good, effective surgeon, he must have a complete doubt-free knowledge about the anatomy. Suppose he forgets, where is the kidney? And he has to operate on kidney. He can't go back to the book. From kidney I remember one thing. There was a school, and in that school the children were told something by the teacher. And the teacher said, I am going to tell you only once. Let me see how many of you are really intelligent. I won't repeat. Okay. All students very eagerly, anxiously listening. Then she said, this is small finger, this is ring finger, this is middle finger, this is index finger, this is thumb, this is palm, this is wrist, this is elbow, this is shoulder. Done. This is doing meditation. Tighten it. Or maybe I am anesthetic. See? So, when the teacher asked, so the student started. This is a shoulder, stupid, wrong. The second student. This is elbow joint, wrong. Everybody was wrong. To remember the sequence correctly, first time listening, they couldn't remember. So one child was eating his nail comfortably, like this. And she said, hey, you tell. And the student correctly told everything without a single mistake. So the teacher said, hey, how come you are so perfect? What is the secret? He said, kidney. This is how I remembered kidney. So if somebody has to be a perfect surgeon, one has to have perfect knowledge of the anatomy. In the same manner, if we want to lead a perfect life, we must have clarity about the fundamentals of life. See? If the fundamentals are not clear, and if the fundamentals are clear, what will be the difference? See? When the fundamentals are clear, life is a fun. See? And if the fundamentals are not clear, life is mental. So those people who are mental, they have no clarity about the fundamentals of life. It has to be clear. And this is how this text, Shiva Sutra, will try to learn all aspects of life. We will not go into the logic arguments or try to prove who is right and who is wrong, or try to establish any particular school of thought, whether karma is superior or devotion is superior or knowledge is superior or yoga is superior or eating and sleeping is superior. See? We will not go into that. We are interested only in the truth. It doesn't matter where from it comes. Okay? Intellectuals suffer in life only because they want to collect data. Okay? For no reason. Two persons went to a garden where there are a lot of mango trees, and one person plucked and started eating. The other one was intellectual. He started knowing the different names of the mango species and how many mangoes per tree and all that. By the time the first fellow enjoyed half a dozen mangoes, the chowkidar of that mango garden came and started eating. This person who ate, he ran away, and this data collector continued. See, friends, don't get lost into non-essentials of life. See, Taittiriya Upanishad tells, Anandadeva khalvimani bhutani jayante, anandena jatani jivanti. This world is a manifestation of bliss. Ananda means bliss. The world is a manifestation of bliss. There is no possibility that blisters should come out of bliss. See? And yet in our life, other than blisters, we have nothing. See? So where from the blisters come? Is only because the fundamentals are not clear. See, friends. Like for everything we know, but how the life is operating, how the experiences are gathered, whether we learn from our experiences or we deposit impressions of every experience on our mind. See? These are the basic things must be known by every sincere seeker of life. I am not bringing the God principle. God forbid. Keep him away. Or else you start depending on somebody. Discover your own bliss. Otherwise, we will be all the time, like the creepers, they grow if there is some support. And the moment the support goes, the creepers fall down. See? So discover. Therefore, it is called as self-discovery. Discover means what? This book is covered by this shawl. This happens in everybody's life. And we forget where we have kept. See? For forgetfulness, there is no cause. For ignorance, there is no cause. See? For making mistake, there is no cause. One teacher was dictating to the children, dictation in English. So, when she was moving around, one student wrote a wrong spelling. So she got annoyed. Who taught you wrong spelling? So the child said innocently, "Ma'am, wrong spellings are not taught, they happen." See? There is no reason for the ignorance, it is there. It is a cause, not the effect. See? Therefore, because of this ignorance or forgetfulness, I have forgotten, I have kept the book here. And I am searching, where it is, and become frustrated. See? And when I get out of my chair, and then this shawl comes out, and then, oh, I have found it. Is it found? See, it is discovered. Scientific discovery. There is nothing like scientific findings. It's a discovery. Discovery Channel. They don't create anything. It is already there. In Shiva Sutra, this word discovery is indicated by a technical term called as Pratyabhigya. It's also called as Pratyabhigya Shastra. Pratyabhigya means recognition. Come to cognize your own being as to who you are. See? We don't have to become happy. Like Shraddhaji told, becoming happy. It is not becoming happy. Wherever becoming is there, be going will be also there. See? Where coming is there, going is associated. Like, many people ask me this question, Swamiji, what is the secret of your happiness? I said, the secret is very simple. I am happy in the happiness of others. You don't have to do anything. Other people do the things to become happy. For example, they get married. I don't know why you are laughing. So, I go for their marriage, attending ceremony. So that is the only time they are happy. So I am with them. See? One Westerner, European, this happened in Pune. There was, this sacred thread ceremony, Yagyopavitam. And a small child, about 8 years, his Yagyopavitam was going on and I was called there. We had to do all dramas. I went there. And then all puja and everything was over. Then he said, excuse me. I said, okay, excuse. What is the next? He said, my question is, where is the bride? I said, in this function there is no bride. Because he is not a groom. Groom, I am sorry. Slip of tongue. He is not a groom. This is called a Yagyopavitam. It's not a marriage. Okay. And then he asked me, but I have one question. Why in your Indian, particularly Hindu marriages, the girls cry? Why they cry? What is the reason? I said, look here, this is the only time they cry. Rest of the life it is his turn. To be happy, you don't have to do anything. See? Now, as you all laughed, analyze your experience. When you laughed, that time you were happy. That time you were man or woman, you were rich or poor, you were brahmachari or sannyasi. See? You are nobody. A nobody alone is happy. That is why in English they say, nobody is happy. It is true. Somebody is always miserable. See, when we are snoring away at night, there are some people, they have the musical sleep. That's why it is called a sound sleep. The sleep which produces sound for the society is sound sleep. So when we are in deep sleep, that time our experience is happiness. See? Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Tatra mata amata bhavati, Tatra pita apita bhavati. In the deep sleep, we are neither mother, nor father, nor brother, nor sister, nor daughter-in-law, nor mother-in-law. And because we are nobody, we are happy. See? Similarly, we don't have any possessions. We are neither rich nor poor, neither we have friends or enemies, neither we are healthy, unhealthy. See, friends, therefore, the fundamental approach to life is, it is not becoming happy, it is being happy. On the spiritual path, knowing is being. Knowing is not becoming. See? When I know the miseries and I become miserable, it is samsara. See? But when I know my being, so knowing is being. And how do we know ourselves? We know ourselves as happiness, bliss. See? That is the reason, be very attentive, that is the reason we are interested only when I is involved. If I is not involved, we are not interested. See? You must have come across this calamity, I have come across a number of times. See, old people, 70 not out, 75 not out, they have only past, they have no future. This is the truth, what can I do? So whatever you have, that only you can give to others. Suppose I have peanuts in my pocket, I cannot distribute cashew nuts. So we have, as old persons, only the past. And therefore, when we start talking about our past, we get so enchanted, involved, engrossed. The other person is not interested. See? See? And this is how we get lost and become miserable. Therefore, don't become anybody. Remain as nobody. And people will ask you so many questions. There is no obligation that you have to answer all the questions. Like, one person asked me this question. Swamiji, have you seen God? I said, why should I tell you? So simple. I am not obliged. No, not like that, Swamiji. You are getting angry. It's not like that. Same question was asked by Vivekananda to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Therefore, I am asking you. I said, you may be Vivekananda. I am not Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Hey, friends. Because normally what we talk is only our dead, uncalled for past. This is the thing worth observing in life. See? This, I'll give one example. I was staying in some place, Allahabad, Prayag, Kumbh Mela was there, so I was there for 21 days. And there used to be a floating population coming and going, and I was like Kutastha Chaitanya seated over there. So many coming and going. So anybody will come and then start talking. So this morning when I went for bath in the Ganges, it was so cold. Naturally in the month of January, Ganges will not be boiling water. But no, it was so cold. And when I went inside, I forgot to come outside. Somebody pulled me. I said, we must give him prize. Pollution was avoided. So one person talks some stupid thing. Do you think other will listen and stop there? He was nothing. When I went to take bath, Ganges got frightened of me and ran away. See? Any experience related by anybody, we bring our experience of the similar kind. Watch. Somebody tells about his childhood. Do you think other person is interested? ये तो कुछ भी नहीं. When we were children, अरे who interested? This is how where I is involved, there alone we are interested. But this I we have never diagnosed, discovered. Who is this I? Therefore, to know the fundamentals of life, we need to know minimum 4 factors. First, what this world is. Second, who is this who is going through good and bad experiences of life. Third, who is that God sitting above the clouds, packing the homeopathic doses of intense misery, high potency. You know these homeopathy people, I am a victim of all pathies. They make me pathetic. Once some homeopathy practitioner, he gave me some medicine for something. He said, Swamiji, this is very high potency dose. By then I have already taken it. I was frightened. I said, no, what is going to happen? He said, no, nothing will happen. Sorry. Then why did he give? All homeopathy fellows have this thing, you know. They say, Swamiji, there is no side effect. What side effect? There is no effect. Side effect. So, when he told me this is high potency dose, next dose I will give after 6 months. I said, what do you mean by high potency? Please explain. I am feeling afraid. Then he explained. He said, we take 1 unit of the medicine and dilute it in 100 units of water. Then from that again we take 1 unit of the diluted medicine and dilute it in 1000 parts of water. From that diluted, again we take 1 unit of the diluted medicine and dilute it another 10,000 parts of water. And it goes on diluting to such an extent that by any chemical process you cannot establish whether the medicine is there or not. And then, that is why, you know, homeopathic medicines are sold only on trust. Because they are high potency. And then he said, when the dilution goes to such an extent, then the medicine acts at a molecular level. This is how it is called high potency. Now be attentive. Each one of us is like 1 unit of medicine, concentrated. Then we dilute it in 100 parts of water. We become diluted I. Then we take the diluted I and further dilute it in 10,000 parts of water. It becomes still diluted to such an extent that the I in us cannot be diagnosed. Only he remains. This is how out of an ordinary person a great master is born. For you and me, I means Anubhavananda. See? For Amma, I doesn't mean, she didn't have even a name. We give her a name. The one who is beyond name and form has correctly understood the meaning of I. See? But we are caught up in this name and form. See, there is a text called as Drugdrishi Vivek. You must have studied. In that, one mantra comes, Asti bhati priya nama rupa iti pancha amshakam adyatrayam brahma rupam jagad rupam tato dvayam. Asti bhati priya is Satchidananda. Nama rupa, name and form. Out of these 5 principles, the first 3, Satchidananda is Brahma Rupam, and name and form is the world. So what will be the spiritual practice? What is actually the life? That which is expressing through every name and form, and therefore does not have any specific name and form, that principle is life. And this is what we have to assert our being. But we forget about it. Because we are caught up in name and form. Nama Rupa. See how we are caught up in Nama Rupa. Once I was going to Badrinath, recently I was again, and there were youngsters like any one of you, and I normally sit on the last bench in the bus, on the left corner, because that is the worst seat in the bus. So when I sit there, nobody has the opportunity to complain, khidki nahi milti. Everybody wants a window. How many windows can Bill Gates create for a bus? Only limited. But everybody wants a window. So to avoid that, I sit on the back seat, corner. Now they have no way. Swamiji is sitting there. How can we fight? So they sit silently suffering. So I was sitting there. And there was one seat free. So one girl came. Swamiji, can I sit with you? I said, how do I know whether you can sit or not? Why not? I said, you should ask a proper question. May I sit with you? Can I sit? How do I know whether you can sit or not? Okay, she said. Swamiji, tell me something so that I learn spirituality. I said, okay, we'll play something, okay? What is that? I will call a name of a boy, that boy, his name is Ashok. I'll call Ashok loudly and say nothing in your ears, only move my lips. And you laugh loudly, so loudly, and you say, I can't see it, Swamiji, and run away to the other side. So the experiment was planned, and I said, Ashok, he looked, and she started and went back. And then that Ashok was very disturbed. What did Swamiji tell about me to her? Why she was laughing? So after some, Swamiji, may I join you? I said, no, I want to be alone. I don't want to get married. No, I just want to sit here and sit down. Why she was laughing? I said, you ask her, how do I know? When somebody is laughing, he went to her. So, why you are laughing? Who are you to question me? Poor fellow was shunting. Then he said, Swamiji, you said something to her, therefore she was laughing. I said, no, I swear by you, I had not said anything. Then why she was laughing? I don't know. I tell you, really, I didn't say anything. Now see, that one word Ashok, with that boy was so much identified that anything pertaining to Ashok pertains to me. This is how we get lost in Nama Rupa, the name and the form, and our samsara begins. See, friends. Therefore, spiritual life is not becoming someone special, but losing all our speciality. See, are we carrying less load of speciality? I am a man, I am woman, I am young, I am old, I am beautiful, I am awful. In addition to that, I am spiritual, one more burden. See? And what is being spiritual? You should be always serious, as if you have consumed handful of caterpillar. What happened? Spiritual diarrhea. See, friends, this is not spiritual life. Because anandadeva kalbimani bhutani jayante. Bhagwan created this world out of joy, out of happiness. He was not frustrated, and in frustration he has created. Like you must have seen, when you do any work in frustration, the one to whom that work goes, he suffers. Like, in our Indian families, if you are from Punjab, you are supposed to cook food and make chapatis. And it is the most torturous job to prepare chapatis. And one South Indian girl got married to a Punjabi, and then she has to learn preparing chapatis. And she was so frustrated. First time she tried, it became South Island of New Zealand. Why it is not coming? And we again struggle, then Indonesia, then Japan. With great difficulty, it became Australia. And every day frustration and making chapatis. In their house, everybody was suffering from constipation. Because any work, be attentive, any work that you do to get happiness, you are a samsari. Any work that is an expression of happiness is God realization. How simple it is. We struggle to get happiness. Don't do that. See? Let us be the counter to dispense bliss around us, rather than encounter with everybody. See? And these all things will be clear if these four factors. What is this world? Who am I? Who is this God who is packing homeopathic doses of miseries and delivered perfectly? See? In Bhagavad Mahapuran, one thought comes. When miseries come to us without our efforts, happiness will also come. But we are struggling to get happiness. We forget, struggle is misery. Struggle is abnormality. Struggle is not our natural state. See? For example, those who are hard of hearing, they have to struggle to listen because they are hard of hearing. So they are not normal. And because they are not normal, they struggle, they put effort, they get tired very quickly. So after 5 minutes of listening, and then why waste time? Go to sleep. Like many of us do in meditation. What is this kind of meditation? Oh, it is called a Jhatka meditation. What is other meditation? Halal meditation. See? Wherever you struggle, you are going the wrong way. See, if you are swimming along the current of the river, you will have to put zero efforts. But when you go opposite, you will have to struggle. Let us flow along the flow of the river of life. Don't struggle. See? Patanjali says, the spiritual practice is yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Normally, yoga is understood in the whole of the world as twisting the body but not straightening the mind. See? And you all must be knowing, you are better informed in yoga than me. All the names of these asanas are terrible, Ushtrasan, Bhujangasana, Gardhabasana, and Matsyasana. There is no humanasana. Kukkutasana, Pogo. But the real meaning of asana as given by Patanjali is not twisting the body. Only sthira sukham, steady bliss. Remaining steadily blissful is asana. See? We sit in one asana, this leg here, this leg there. After some time, pain here, pain there, pain everywhere. See? And then only we are waiting when the meditation is over. And when it is over, then you cannot get up. Hey, why don't you get up? No, my legs were sleeping. Then what did you do? Why do anything partially? So I slept fully. These are the cartoons of meditation. They are not meditation. Sthira Sukham, steady bliss under all conditions. You are practicing asana. And how can it be practiced? Two techniques are given by Patanjali. One is Prayatna Shaitilya. Lead your life effortlessly, don't struggle in life. See? Why we struggle is because we want to prove something to somebody. Be yourself. See? Prayatna Shaitilya. And effortlessness can come to us only if we merge with the infinite. Ananta Samapatti. Wherever there is finite, there are efforts. To keep this particular hall, space, clean and without any bad smell, how much efforts are required? The total space. Let the whole world burn. No smell will come anywhere. Because it is infinite. So what will be the real meaning of asana? Sthira Sukham, steady bliss is possible when you are effortless because you have merged with the infinite. That is the meaning of asana. See? Therefore, happiness or bliss is the foundation of spiritual life. See? It is not the other way around. Frustrated people go to spirituality. Those who are utter failures in life go for spirituality. See? I'll give you two examples. One Indian, another imported. First Indian example. I was in Allahabad in somebody's house for food. Going for food to people's house is one of my professional requirement and hazards. So I had to go. So when I went there, we were all about 7-8 of us sitting around, and the son of that family, huge structure, 6+4+, standing like Vivekananda. So I told him, hey, come on man, join for lunch. You take. I said, anyway, I have come for that, I'll take it. So when he spoke rudely, his mother felt bad. He said, Swamiji, I don't know, he's such a useless fellow, he doesn't study, he doesn't work, and whole day he's eating my head as well as food, and I don't know what should I do. I am fed up of him. After some time she said, Swamiji, why don't you take him with you in your ashram? See? That is the reason I don't have ashram. So I told her, I said, Mama, my mom also sent me like this only. Hey, spiritual life is not for those who are unfit for everything, they are fit for spirituality. See, friends. Then the second example, imported example. See, I had travelled between Mumbai and Heathrow, 8-9 hours it takes. After I got down, one European German lady, she came to receive me and she took me to one church. I had a lecture session in the evening, 5 to 6. So when we were going, after some time I said, Mama, probably we are going wrong. This is not the way. I am here for last 35 years. I know better than you. I said, Tathastu, continue. After going for about half an hour, she said, Swamiji, probably you are right. We have taken a wrong exit. What should we do? I said, follow Indian technology. Go reverse gear. No, we can't do. The next U-turn is 40 miles. I didn't drive. I can't do anything. Thus we reached there 1 hour late. And I was praying to the Lord, all people have gone. But they were all hanging around. So I had to go and talk. So we finished our talk. We had a nice tea, coffee, then dinner. And then I was watching a documentary on Tibet in my friend's house. And this lady, she said, Swamiji, are you not tired? I said, why should I be tired? No, you came all the way from India. Here we were driving. You gave a lecture. You were talking to people. And you are watching this documentary on TV. Why don't you sleep? I said, you don't worry about me. You sleep. No, but I want to be like you. Never tired and always happy. Is it possible? I said, not possible. He said, why not possible? I said, look here, happiness and wisdom is directly proportionate to the length of the beard. Longer the beard, more the happiness. Shorter the beard, lesser the happiness. No beard. No, sorry, please tell what should I do. I said, look here, Mama, your whole life is a struggle that you want to prove something to somebody. Don't struggle. We don't have to prove anything to anybody in this world. See? Be accountable to your own conscience. You will be relaxed. See? Second thing is, we try to justify. Remove these two things from your head. You will be at peace. We want to prove something holier than thou. See? And we want to justify. No, I came late because, when I was coming, it started raining. Who asked you? If you don't come, who cares? But our own mind starts blabbering. Stop these two things. You will be at peace. See? Therefore, what is this world, who we are, who is this God sending us the miseries, etc. And where this mega drama is going on. See? These are the things to be known about our total life. When these things are clear, then you will come to know what is the meaning of spiritual practice. It is something like this, These days IPL is going on everywhere. You may be knowing IPL. India ke pagal log, IPL. So, in this IPL cricket, they have got three, factors. One is a batting team. Second is a fielding team. And third is the umpire. Three of them. And it is only the batsman who is out, never a bowler, never a fielder, and never an umpire. Batsman only is out. If this is clear, Jiva, the soul, the individual I, is a batting team. The world is a bowling team. And Ishvara is an umpire. If you bowl good length, he will not appreciate. If you give a full toss, he will not appreciate. If you hit a 4, he will not appreciate. Simply tell. He will not appreciate. But if you do a mistake, you are punished. Wide ball, no ball. Now the last point. Out of these two teams, batting and the fielding team, if one team gives walkover, suppose the batting team gives walkover, Is there any need for the other team to be on the ground? They will also go. If both the teams have gone, what will be the umpire do? Eat mungfali? No. He will also go. In the same manner, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. These three things are in relation to each other. When all of them go, the ground still remains. Ground doesn't go anywhere. In the same manner, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, these are the three factors to be clearly understood. And then we come to know that all of them are supported by something which is playing a role of a soul, which is playing the role of a world, which is playing the role of the God, and yet is beyond all three of them. This is what has to be known. And for that, what are the spiritual practices? So this is the load of this text called as the Shiva Sutra. In the Shiva Sutra, the teacher is giving the knowledge in a very cryptic language. The story associated with the Shiva Sutra goes very different ways. Some of them say that there was one great saint, Abhinav Gupta, in Kashmir, in Srinagar. Sometime in the 6th or 7th century, even before that. And he dreamed. Lord Shiva told him these Shiva Sutras. Next day he wrote them down. This is one version. Second version is, he was told in the dream, go to such and such mountain, there is such and such big rock, remove the rock, below the rock, on another rock, there is the inscription of the Shiva Sutras, take them and spread them for the benefit of the humanity. This is the second version. Now our understanding should be intelligent. What is meant is, Shiva Sutras are not the creation of human intellect. Apaurusheya. They are not created by man's imagination. See, those of you who chant Ram Raksha, in that Ram Raksha Stotra, Yatha Adishtavan Swapne Buddha Kaushakurushihi, as was seen in the dream and he was told Ram Raksha, that next day he wrote the whole thing. So, in short, this knowledge is not a creation of human mind. It is eternally available knowledge called as Apaurusheya Jnanam. And second thing, it is available for those who are sincere, and it comes to us by His grace alone. Be very attentive. There is one text called as Avadhuta Gita. In this Avadhuta Gita, the very first mantra is Ishvaranugrahateva pumsam advaita vasana mahadbhaya paritranad vipranam upajayate. It is by the grace of the divine will alone that we are attracted toward the study of this non-dual reality. See? Many of us have got this wrong notion that because of our earlier good acts or deeds in the past, we are in the company of the great masters like Ammaji. This is wrong understanding. The result of our karma is only twofold. Punyasya phalam sukham, papasya phalam dukkham. There is no third. What we get in our life is only two things, happiness or the miseries. Happiness comes to us as a result of the meritorious acts in the past, and miseries come to us as a result of the sinful acts in the past. But if we happen to come in contact with the great masters and study of the scriptures, it is not the result of our karma. But it is Ishvaranugrahateva, by the divine grace, we come in contact with the great masters, and the grace of the great masters come to us in the form of exposition on the scriptures. This is the whole technique. Therefore, Durlabham trayame vaitad devanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayaha. See, Shankaracharya Bhagavan says in Vivek Chudamani, if these three things happen in our life, it is the divine grace. Manushyatva, being human being; mumukshutva, the longing for freedom; and mahapurusha samshrayaha, coming in the shelter and wisdom of the great masters. It is not the effect of our karma, it is the divine grace. Thus, this knowledge comes to us in the form of the grace. This Shiva Sutra is also called as Agama Shastra. Agama Shastra, and there are many names given to these scriptures. It is called as Trik Shastra also, because there are three factors taken care of. Those of you who have gone to Kathmandu, there is one temple of Lord Shiva. It is called as Pashupatinath. There used to be one boy, his name was Pashupatinath. We always used to tease him, come on yaar, how to abbreviate your name? We don't know. Should we call you Pashu? Come here. No. Should we call you Pati? Come here. You can't call everybody Pati. Hey Nath, come here. You can't call that. See? So Pashupati Nath. Pashu is the Jiva. Pati is Ishvara. Nath is the supporter of both Ishvara and the Jiva. Pashupati Nath. So these three factors. There are many three factors in our scriptures. Like Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, three gunas; Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti, waking, dream, deep sleep, three experiences; experiencer, experienced, experiencer, the three components of every experience, etc. So these three factors are analyzed here in a very exhaustive manner. Now, there are some basic principles, and one of the most important basic principle is, we are not creating the reality as the result of our spiritual practice. You all must be chanting, na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amrutatva manasho parena nakam nihitam guhayam vibrajate yatyatayo vishanti. Na karmana, not as a result of karma; na prajaya, not as a result of the children or the disciples; na dhanena, nor by wealth; but tyage naike amrutatva manasho. But by renunciation alone, the ultimate is regained. See? Like in some of the airports, it is written, baggage reclaim. Because you have only given your baggage for checking in, and when you go to the next airport, there the board is baggage reclaim. You cannot claim, give me a bag. Did you check in? No. Then how can I give? But you are giving to everybody, give me also. No. Reclaim. You don't get anything. See friends, spiritual path is, you get nothing. Are you ready? It is a bargain of total loss. If we have got this imagination, like one person asked me this question, Swamiji, whenever I sit for meditation, I feel like that, as if I am levitating, I am floating, what will happen? I said, depends where are you sitting. Suppose you are sitting right below the fan and you just immediately chop off your head. Don't get lost in all that. You will get nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why? Because nothing can be added to the infinite. If you are that infinite reality, what can you get? Can we add one more direction to the space? Even the 10 directions which are spoken of, are they really there? They are only imaginary. See? Therefore, if we have this funny notion, like many people have got, I have done so much of Bhagwan, but all the miseries come to us. Why? See? That is not the right spiritual approach. Once this happened in Bombay, our satsang was over and I was told, Swamiji, this so and so, she is the daughter of the governor of one of the states of India. Naturally, she is very important, VVIP, that means WIP. VVW. So, she is VVIP. So, naturally, I have to pay attention, VVIP. I say, yes, Amma, namaskar. Swamiji, I have got a question. I say, keep with you, I don't need, I have got sufficient. No, please answer. Why in this world good people suffer and bad people have comfortable life? Why? I said, Mama, forget about the world, tell me about you. You are all right? Yes, Swamiji, I am okay, I am perfectly all right. I said, did you get a reply? Good people don't have complaints. You are only talking theoretical. See, if you are really good, you will live at a zero complaint level. Has any master, take our Amma, has she ever complained against anybody who has troubled her throughout her life? See? And for us, while you are taking bath, if the water goes, complain. I think the world is coming to an end because there is water. Living at a zero level is possible, zero complaint level is possible if we are one with the infinite. Therefore, if realization means merging in the infinite, you get nothing. Don't have these wrong notions. Spiritual life means something great will happen. Nothing will happen. All happening will stop. See? Thus, this spiritual recognition is not getting something or losing something. So the first principle is, now I will tell you step by step. How long I continue? I can keep bluffing. Now it is almost 1 hour, another 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Before they walk out, I should stop. See, the first principle is called as the absolute reality, and this absolute reality must be recognized as beyond the scope of words. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. You cannot talk about. That is absolute reality. That is why, once I was in South Africa, after my lecture was over, one person came, Swamiji, I said, how did you like the bluffs? Swamiji, please don't say that bluffs. It is not, you told so nicely. I said, it is a bluff. How come? I said, look here. Upanishad says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. Reality is that about which you cannot speak. So whatever you speak about reality is a bluff. Then the world is an illusion. So what can you talk about illusion? The specific gravity of the mirage waters is 3.8. So whatever you talk is a bluff. And therefore, maunam vyakhya prakatita para brahma tattvam yuvanam varshishthante vasatrushiganaih avrutam brahmanishtaih आचार्येन्द्रम करकलित चिन्मुद्रमानंदरूपम स्वात्मारामम मुदित वदनम दक्षिणामूर्ति मीडे. मौन व्याख्या. The truth is revealed through the eloquence of silence. That is the reality. See, unknowingly we all know. What is our understanding of meditation? See? Once I was in Singapore airport and sitting for my flight to come, so I was enjoying. People, keep on running, somebody forgets something, run and all that. And for me it is a good cartoon show, live cartoon show. So one person came and he said, excuse me. So I looked at him. You are a Swami? I said, I don't know, maybe. Do you deal in meditation? I said, only wholesale, no retail. Otherwise he'll start asking, He said, I also do meditation for last 30 years. I said, it's your problem. No, I have got one question, one doubt. 30 years I am doing meditation, but my mind runs here and there. What should I do? You also run. Now be attentive. We all know, unknowingly. Meditation means what? Suspension of activities. The body is firm at the base, vertically steady, completely relaxed. The breathing is extremely slow and extremely shallow. The pressure of thoughts is minimized. In short, we are marching from the multiplicity to the unity, from the activity to the stillness, from the words to the silence, from the joy and sorrows to beyond. This journey is not in time, not in space, and no destination is reached. There are no efforts. Now, as if you walk out of your body, There are so many bodies seated in this hall. One of them is me and mine. Look at the front view of your body from outside. From the top to the toe, part by part. If there are patches of tensions, iron them out. Now go to the right side of your body. Don't forget you are outside your body. Take the right view. The right side of the head, the right ear. Go downwards up to the hip joint. Relax if there are tensions. Now go to the back side of your body. From the top to the pin bones base. Slowly start going downwards and relax if there are some patches. Go to the left side of your body. Don't forget you are outside your body. On the left side you may get more tensions because the other three sides were relaxed. So take the left view, go downwards, relax, relax, relax. Now come in front of your body. Now your experience is the shape, the form, the size and the contour line of your body has become hazy and non-distinct. Because of that, the concept of inside and outside is redundant. Now there is a homogeneous presence where the boundary line of body has disappeared. Now our experience is like the space. In initial stages, this silence doesn't remain long, and merely silence cannot be the goal of life. We have to live in this chaotic world. We can't go to Himalayas. Therefore, let us not give undue importance to silence. When our mind is relatively silent, now engage that mind for playing meditation. Now let us play meditation. When the children play home, there is no ego born that I am a husband or a wife. In the same manner, when we play meditation, a meditator is not born. Now what is the meditation we are playing? The first step is to recognize our presence as independent and other than the body. Body disidentification is the first destination. So now we play meditation. What it is like being other than the body, and what is other than the body? So the space is other than the body. So let us play space. Body has a birth, growth and death. Space does not have birth, growth and death. Is it not our experience? We don't have the experience of birth, growth, death or absence. Body has a shape. Playing other than the body means no shape, no form. Mind cannot survive without forms. So when we play being formless, the mind disappears. So, what exactly meditation will be? We are losing everything. Body identification is lost. Relations are dropped. Possessions are rejected. This infinite, formless, causeless, uncreated presence is our being. Therefore, in fact, spiritual life or meditation is not doing anything. It is undoing. It is not becoming someone, but it is unbecoming just to be. Take a little deep breathing 2-3 times slowly. As the deep breathing happens, the body identification and the shape and the form of the body is included in the mind. A sense of limited being is created. Move your toes and fingers little bit. Now the sense of being inside the body and the world is outside the body is confirmed. From here onward, the samsari begins. Offer everything at the feet of the Lord. Don't create any memory out of this experience, because it was not an experience at the thought level. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.